All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the December meeting and holiday party of the DuPage ROSC Council. Glad to see everybody. My name is Jared Burton. I am your ROSC coordinator. Glad to be here with you. Usual housekeeping stuff to start off. If we could make sure that everybody on the Zoom end is muted so we could cut down on interruptions and all that, that would be great. If you are in the Zoom and you want to put your name and contact info in the chat, that helps us keep track of attendance. But also it helps us to connect offline too. That's a big part of what we do, not only through just being at these meetings, but through our referral hub, which we'll be talking about shortly. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started here. All right. For those of you who have not attended a ROSC meeting before, which I don't know if there's anybody who hasn't, but a ROSC is a coordinated network of person-centered and community-based services and supports. We try to identify the strengths, but also the gaps of services and the barriers to services in not only substance use, but co-occurring mental health challenges. And then we do what we can as a community and as an organization to fill those gaps, to advocate for people living with substance use, and really rely on those of us with lived experience to kind of lead the way and have a voice for people who are still struggling with substance use challenges. Ben Rudolph just walked in, everybody, the VIP guest. You could see him on the camera there. So yeah, that's what a ROSC is. Quick intro to ROSC. But we have a lot of stuff to promote, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. Next month, the ROSC Council returns on Wednesday, January 8th. We're actually having our friends from the Ecker Center for Behavioral Health coming in to do an organizational spotlight on the services they provide. We actually went over and did a tour of their location over about a month ago, and they do some pretty amazing work right next door to us in Elgin. Great organization. We're glad to have them here on site to be with us for that meeting on January 8th. We'll also be talking about where we're at with some of our community needs assessment survey, which we'll be talking about kind of here at the end. Hopefully we'll have some insights early on what we've been seeing. And then, if we need some other areas that survey needs to be pushed into, we might ask for your help with that. Our presentation series, our friend Bruce, who is not able to attend today, unfortunately, but he runs the CRSS program over at College of DuPage. Big proponent of psychedelics for therapeutic purposes. And as we are a multiple pathways approach organization, we try to advocate for those multiple pathways too. He does a great presentation. He was actually testifying yesterday. I think, I don't know if it was a town hall or something, for legalization of some of these psychedelics for therapeutic reasons. And so he's a big proponent of it. About two and a half years ago, he did this presentation for us, and a lot has actually changed in that past 2 years. So for those of you who have not seen that type of presentation, check it out. Very interesting stuff. That's on Wednesday, January 15th at 10 a.m. Coming up, we have our game night. We did a couple of these last year. They were super fun. Saturday, January 25th, we're actually doing it in this room where everybody is. We're doing it with our friends and partners in the DuPage RCO. Last year, we put video games on like multiple screens. We had it up on the giant screen on TVs, board games, cards, you name it. Great turnout. I usually order a little personalized trophy for the best gamer. A child won it last time, which is actually, they're probably way better at gaming than most of us adults are. So if you want to come out and vie for the title of ROSC Game Night Champion, Saturday, January 25th. January 11th, there's going to be a recovery yoga for beginners. I want to stress for beginners because I'm going to be there and I am the world's least flexible human being. So if you want to come and see me trip over myself, that would be great. But Trinity Hamilton, who actually attends our ROSC meetings pretty frequently, is a yoga instructor, and she's done awesome work, like getting yoga supplies donated to Serenity House, and she's going to come and lead this. Open to the public, January 11th from 3 to 5 p.m. Our friend Mark Matthews sent this to me. There is a sober skate event coming up. If you're a roller skater, which I didn't know they still had skating rinks around. I don't mean that in a bad way. When I was a kid, I loved roller skating and I didn't know they were still around, but they are. Roselle, right north of us at the Coach Slate Skate Center, there's a sober skate on February 23rd from 4:30 to 6:30, $12 per person, $5 for rental. Also, you can bring unused, I'm going to stress that, unused or packaged socks for a sock drive. So you can come out to that.
Will shock you. Emma,
Let me make sure everybody's muted, please. Thank you. So come out to the Sober Skates at the end of February. There's the man himself. I was just promoting your Sober Skate event. More and more trainings, virtual Narcan training through the DuPage Recovery Community Organization, the third Thursday of every month at 12:30. This is a good beginner's Narcan training. So if you know somebody who just knows nothing about Narcan, looking to get trained on it, they can join us virtually on the third Thursday. We also put in some stuff about like current trends that we see as far as overdose reversal stuff in DuPage and surrounding counties. So if it's entry level or just a brush up, you could join us at that on the third Thursday. At Stony Brook Center, which is our friends and partner site in Wheaton, our friend Danielle goes over and does a smart recovery meeting, which is completely open every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. If you're unfamiliar with smart recovery, it is an alternative to things like 12-step, a lot of CBT and goal-based recovery stuff. A lot of people really, really like it. So the ones that we provide these meetings for, you can check that one out at the Stony Brook Center in Wheaton. Our friend Jim Murphy runs a hybrid veteran support group. So this is on Thursdays from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. Veterans are welcome to attend. Of course, veterans are one of those groups that sometimes get forgotten about. So the chance to offer a recovery meeting for them is really, really important. So we're glad to be able to provide that on Thursdays. Promise, only got a couple more. Virtual smart recovery meeting every Saturday morning from 9 a.m. to 10. We usually provide these flyers and all the sign-in info and stuff through emails as well. So if you're interested in getting these in your email, we can provide those for you. Refuge recovery, another really, really cool kind of alternative to your traditional 12-step recovery program. It is a kind of Buddhist or Eastern spiritually based recovery program. A lot of meditation, a lot of mindfulness. If that's your thing, you will definitely want to check that out. Very, very cool. That is virtually on Sundays. Couple more things here. Friends and Family Smart Recovery on Thursdays from 6 to 7 p.m. here at Serenity House. So again, that's kind of for friends and family and people who are affected by loved ones who are living with substance use challenges or co-occurring mental health challenges. Again, family sometimes gets forgotten about in the whole process of people recovering. So we want to be able to provide that support for them. All right. If you are not signed up for our DuPage ROSC Referral Hub, you are kind of missing out because that is a opportunity for folks who are maybe working in the field, or maybe they are those people who people know are in recovery. So you become that person that people call at 10 or 11 at night when they have somebody who needs treatment right away. If you're that person and you need help navigating some of those referrals and resources and things like that, we have a WhatsApp group. And in that WhatsApp group, we have about, I think last checked, 130 people who are now just working day and night on helping each other with referrals. It's really, really easy to join. If you're interested, you can put that in the chat. If you're not already a member, we can get you signed up for that. And one thing we've been doing for the past few months is naming a ROSC Referral Hub monthly MVP. And now we're at the point where we're going to name our first annual yearly DuPage ROSC WhatsApp Referral Hub MVP. So I'm going to turn it over to Blake Warman, who is like my my data champ and the gentleman who has taken over the WhatsApp Referral Hub from Danny Sorbis, and Danny moved over to Coors. And Blake is going to name the yearly Referral Hub champion.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's been an amazing year with the Referral Hub. As Jared said, our member count has grown to 130 and includes members from across a welcome and diverse number of professions. I don't have a total added this year alone, as my record keeping didn't start until August. However, with the data that I do have, this year we provided a total of 428 referrals, which comes out to an average of 35 per month. Every one of you has been an invaluable resource in this endeavor. Simply having your knowledge and experience be a part of this adds to the abilities and skills we have here in connecting people with the services they are in need of during that narrow window where we can best facilitate their placements. Our MVP for not only this month, but for the entire year,
Drum roll, everybody, drum roll.
winning the months of July, October, and November, is John Scose.
John, come on down. Come on down. John, you are the winner of a gift card, but we do it not for the gift cards, but for the people who were previously falling through the gaps, and now hopefully those people are no longer falling through and are finding those resources they need. And you and everybody else is a big, big part of being able to do that. So can you say a couple of words as the first champion of the year?
Well, I'm surprised, put it that way, because the hub is so active. There are so many people that are constantly responding on there. I would not have thought I had a few more. I will say I'll use it to find something that we can purchase for the unit. That would be nice for our clients and patients to enjoy. Oddly enough, the first thing I'm thinking about is nail clippers that a person can have their own because we don't have any to share and stuff like that. And that's kind of one of those basic things that a lot of people forget about. But also maybe something else. Maybe we could also throw them a little bit of a food night too. But this is fantastic. And I mean, I'm very grateful for the WhatsApp because it's linked so many people and so quickly that typically would maybe spend weeks or longer looking for services. It's a great thing, and ROSC in our county has been absolutely a fantastic addition and has not only helped but saved so many. So I really appreciate it.
All right. Yeah, sorry for the disembodied voice. I don't think, do we have the camera on the audience still? Okay. All right. So yeah, it completely free to take part if you're interested. Again, put it in the chat. We'll make sure you get signed up for it. So just a few things. This meeting is going to be a little bit shorter than kind of our usual meeting because I know there's a lot of people here in person. We want to make sure that we're doing some holiday mingling and such. But I wanted to go over some stuff that we were able to accomplish in 2024, but also some goals for 2025. And it's stuff that we've talked about, but it's good to see it kind of laid out so you can kind of get a feel for the stuff that we've been doing, but also the stuff that is going to take precedent going in 2025. Those of you may know that harm reduction was a big, big piece of not only what we do here in DuPage, but across the state. I think there's been a very amazing push from high levels on making sure that harm reduction is one of those areas that really takes importance. I think some of you have been coming for meetings long enough. I think in November of 2023, November/December was when we finally put in like our first Narcan box, which we've been like fighting for forever. We actually put in 10 over the past calendar year, which is pretty amazing. Everywhere from 12-step clubs to MAT clinics to libraries to social services, police departments. As you can kind of see, there's a great cross-section of the types of places that are really seeing the importance of harm reduction, even if that's just hosting Narcan on site. And a lot of them have actually gone beyond just hosting Narcan to including things like fentanyl and xylazine test strips, which is like a really, really cool thing to see. And so that's been a really, really great part of what we've been able to do with community partners. We did talk about the referral hub. It's up to 130 members, which just blows my mind. I think I remember when there was 17 or 18 of us, and to be able to have 130 is kind of nuts. presentations, not only through the like ROSC Council meetings, but the presentation series, as well as some like CEU sponsored things that we've done this year. We really try to like spotlight some cool things that are happening on the recovery continuum. So that could be everything from, like I've listed some here, sober living to EMDR to trauma informed care, methadone, vape shops. Like try to keep it timely, but also think beyond just kind of your average substance use or mental health type presentations. And because of community partners and people who are willing to come in and do these presentations for us, that has been an awesome, awesome thing to provide for people. Justice involved individuals in recovery. Day one of the ROSC, in my head, I was like, what are the groups and what are the people who are sometimes forgotten about? What are the groups who need a little bit of extra support? And we had identified justice involved individuals from day one. I think the people who are, you know, currently incarcerated, formerly incarcerated on some type of supervision, whether that's probation, parole, drug court, problem solving court, it's gotten better at providing treatment options and diversion, but it's still very, very difficult for folks to re-enter after being incarcerated. Can you make sure everybody's muted, please? That would be great. So to provide that little bit of extra help for them, so by going in and doing classes inside jails, our buddy Jim Murphy, who's been working for Serenity House in some way, shape, or form since 1988, I think he said, went in this year to do a employment training program with like painting, drywall. This type of stuff makes a big, big difference. The people that we talk to inside the jails, always talk about the anxiety they face about re-entering specifically around work. A lot of them have felonies on their records, which, you know, automatically could disqualify them from working in certain areas. It just helps them give a little bit of hope. And hopefully this year we'll be able to work on some funding to do another couple of those classes inside. Overdose Awareness Day events. Always a super special day for us, not only through the ROSC, but for Serenity House. Hundreds of people come out, and it's a very, very special day that we get to celebrate people and really honor the people whose lives were lost to overdose this year. Advocacy and representation, you know, at a higher level, being able to have PLEs go out and speak and advocate and talk as people in recovery in DuPage County. So having people on like DuPage Council for Strengthening the System, DuPage Crisis Center work groups, regional care coordination for opioid settlement funds, you know, the state level recovery support and task committees, to be able to have our folks, you know, take part at these higher level groups, to have a say in what those recovery programs look like in the state of Illinois, to be able to have us on those groups to talk about what they should look like is really, really important. Blake created the DuPage ROSC resource guide this year, which we've been talking about doing for like 2 years. I think you guys asked me for that 2 years ago. We finally did it. Blake put together an amazing, amazing document, which has, is it what, 20 sectors or 21? It's a lot. So if you need to find resources for like any sector on that recovery continuum, it's easily accessible and really just it's almost like a Bible. So if you're interested in getting that resource guide, let us know and we got you. Donation drives, being able to collect things like socks or winter coats, for places like Midwest Shelter for Homeless Veterans, People's Resource Center, and the Glen Ellen Public Library. So talk about 2025 though. What are we doing this year? Well, we have goals and we have things that we've talked about through meetings and our strategic plans. But what we really have been looking at is, like we talked about, that increased advocacy work. So we're making sure that we're centering the voices of people who are in recovery in DuPage County. Expansion of the current harm reduction work, which I am very, very happy to say that we have signed on with the health department to continue our work in 2025 with Narcan vending machines and boxes, which is really, really great. More work on reducing stigma. We're actually kind of hopefully in the talks to do another stigma reduction campaign this year, specifically around co-occurring mental health disorders as opposed to only substance use. Spanish language referral services through Annette, who's back here. She's been a godsend coming on. It really been a blind spot for our organization. And it's not for lack of trying. It's just not being able to find the right person who's been willing to come aboard and help us with those Spanish language services. Huge segment of our population here in DuPage County. An increased representation from folks and groups that don't have a seat at the table. And that's not just me saying that. That's I rely on the council to be able to tell me that. You know, are there people and organizations that aren't here at these meetings every month, that aren't at the events we do, or aren't at the meetings? Help me understand what those groups are and what we can do to get them at the table to be able to take part in these things. And then lastly, just keeping people plugged in. I feel like if you were attending the DuPage ROSC Council meeting on any month, you have a pretty good snapshot of what's going on in the recovery community in DuPage County. I know Bruce from COD tells his students on the syllabus, come to these meetings if you're looking to work in the field. And I feel like the only way we're able to do that is to have a great group that comes back every month to be able to make people feel like they are plugged in when they come and attend these things. So a lot of stuff coming up this year that we're really, really excited about. We can't do any of this stuff without the continued engagement and support through these meetings. So thank you everyone who attends every month. Pretty amazing thing. Last thing I want to do, well, second to last thing, I told him that where is he? He's back there. I wanted to point out my friend, Bob Halderman, who is leaving Serenity House shortly. I told this story in the conference room earlier, but I'm going to tell it again. So a lot of you know, so Serenity House is the lead agency for DuPage ROSC. Me, like a lot of people who work here now, was a former client. So I got here as a client in January of 2019. And when I got here in January 2019, Bob was the only recovery coach here. So when I moved over to the recovery homes, we were asked to meet with the recovery coach at least once, and then it was optional if you wanted to meet with the recovery coach moving forward. So I met with Bob, I think in the kitchen of one of the recovery homes, and I realized we hit it off. We had a great conversation. We talked about more than just recovery, right? We talked about like music we were into. We talked like friends. And every week after that, I think it was on Thursdays, Wednesdays or Thursdays, I would meet with Bob and we would talk about, like I said, obviously like my recovery and what I was doing, but just what was going on in life. And I think that being able to have those meetings was what planted a seed way back when of being able to do peer support work. Because previously when I looked at, you know, maybe working in this field, I went to school for like CADC and some other stuff, but I felt like my heart wasn't in the clinical side of things. And God bless the people who do clinical. I just sometimes can't think the way they do. And so to be able to get that seed planted to work in peer support was all down to having those meetings with Bob and seeing what a peer support worker does. So I wanted to just have a round of applause for Bob for the work he's done over the past few years. And Bob always brought really good donuts. He brought really good donuts. Yell, what was the name of the donut shop? County Donuts, if anyone's looking for donuts. Yeah. So, so I have one last thing, but first, I know we do have quite like a few people here on the Zoom. So if there's anyone here on the Zoom side or in person, I suppose too, that has a program or meeting or event that they would like to promote, now is the time, because I want to kind of close off with the community survey information. So is anybody here? And a lot of you work in the field, I see you. Is there any programs or events or meetings coming up that you would like to promote? If you're digital, you can raise your digital hand. If you're here in person, you can raise your literal hand. Going once. Going twice. Okay, cool. All right, so lastly, let's talk about this community survey, because this is a big piece of what we do, and it's a big piece that helps us to not only help the state in reporting back some information about some of these questions, but to also get a better feel for what's happening in our area and use some of this information to hopefully direct the ROSC efforts in the next couple of years. So we are conducting a community survey, I like to say in collaboration with IDHS Super, because they have some questions they would like us to ask for them as well. The survey questions are going to align with the 5 real priority goals of ROSC in the state of Illinois. Stigma reduction, promoting medication-assisted recovery. For unfamiliar, that's things like Suboxone, Vivitrol, Methadone. Promoting harm reduction, ensuring effective service delivery, and prioritizing equity. And I think those are all things that hopefully as a ROSC we've been doing already for the past few years, but it just to really hammer home that these are the things we need to be doing as community organizations in recovery. Again, the information collected are going to be reported back to the state and will be used to help direct our efforts in the coming year. So I have 2 versions of this survey, and it is going to be going out pretty widely. It's going to be open until probably the very, very 1st of February. But I've got an English version and a Spanish version in front of you. Those of you who are here in person, you have these QR codes as well. It would be incredibly helpful for as many people as possible to fill those out. You really can't stress how important data collection and data management is to the work that we do. So those of you here in person, I know it's not like your average party activity to fill out a survey. I promise me, Blake, and Annette made it like quick and painless. I think it's like 19 questions overall, but it's really, really helpful to us. And those of you who are on the Zoom version, I'm going to leave this up on the screen for a little bit. I'm going to kind of call it into the official meeting portion of this so we can kind of have some mingling over here at the holiday party. But I'm going to leave this meeting up and I'm going to leave this on the screen. So anybody here who is on the Zoom version of the meeting, if you haven't had a chance to take a look at the survey already, please do. And I'm going to be blasting this out not only through our email network, but I know the health department, Impact DuPage, there's a number of organizations that are going to help us with this. And that could be you. Feel free to share this widely because the more information we have about what's working and what's not working, the easier it is for us to try and meet those needs that are still out there. So thank you in advance to everybody. And everyone who is on the Zoom version, thank you for being here. Sorry you can't be here with us in person. We love you all the same. If you want to stay on, there is a party cam. I know it's not the same, but you can take part in that. I don't know, Joanna, anybody from the state want to say any Christmas wishes before we cut it?
Well, I just want to wish everyone a happy holidays. I wish I was there. I'm totally, what is it, FOMO? Having
FOMO, yeah.
suffering from fear of missing out over here. I wish I was there, but just want to wish everyone a happy holidays. Thanks for having me. I always enjoy your meetings, Jared. You know, I'm a huge fan of your ROSC, so.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. And yeah, everybody on the Zoom, have a wonderful holiday season. We'll be back on January 8th, back to business as usual. And yeah, thank you for helping us make a pretty amazing 2024. So hopefully 2025, just keep on growing, everybody. So thank you again. And yeah, we'll see you in January.